Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Like, what comic books are you reading?
Oh, Kelly, let me tell you what comic books I'm reading. Do you have an hour or so? Because they might be titles you've not heard of, but they're probably creators you've got blocked. And none of them are DC or Marvel, which actually saddens me. I did buy a DC comic this week, and it was a glorious thing of beauty that it was too. And do I have that in? Do I have that? I do have it handy. Yes, I have it within arm's reach. I bought a DC comic, and it was glorious. So first time I bought a DC comic in a long time. Excellent story. Lots of characters, multiple perspectives, characterization, action, suspense, a real impacting ending. Yeah, do this again. Do this again, DC. That's the good stuff. Meanwhile, the folks who are doing the crowdfunding business will continue to pick up the slack and fill the void that has been left by the main publishers who have sort of pulled out to do their own thing. Hello, everyone. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics, and Proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing. And tonight we are going to get into the crowdfunded scene again with Mr. Greg Levite and Mr. Hank Barrett. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hail, RJ. What's up? Hail, Comicsgate. Hail, the chat.
Wow.
Hey,
Man,
hey,
oh,
Fanta,
man.
how you doing out there in TV land? Thank you very much for having us, RJ.
I'm glad to do it. Now, if you guys weren't here, I'd be like, looking at this blank wall past my computer and just acting like I'm talking to people. And if we don't have a chat, like we do tonight with Phantasmagorical, hey there, welcome. Glad to see you out there in the chat. It gets real boring real fast because I bore me. I can't talk to myself. That's how I put myself to sleep. As I start.
I bore me too.
Oh,
yes, I understand what you mean. You want to hear other people talk. I get it.
Exactly.
I might have to check and see if I have a beer in the fridge. I might have a couple beers up there.
Here.
I might have to join you.
This bud's for you.
I'll be right back.
Do that. I always find the first Budweiser of the morning is the best one.
Oh, for real.
I'm kidding. It's late. It's evening here, folks. Don't go pulling an intervention for old RJ here.
Don't cancel
Hank,
him.
what are you
just
putting
yet.
on the screen here? This is some cool looking stuff. Is this from this book?
Okay, so I'm actually developing, doing a concept development run for one of the villains, Marcosia, the demon beast queen, the nightmare fueled monarch. And so I start off with a series of silhouettes, and then I'll go back in and I'll fill them in. As you can see, I started on one of them, and just kind of let my imagination run. And what we'll do is we'll go over this with like a red pen and go, well, I like this and I like that. I want to see this mixed with that. And then we'll get to the next stage of character development.
Marcosia, and that's not based on anybody, is it?
That is based on Judeo-Christian demon.
Okay.
Yeah. From 12th century literature.
Okay, because the name sounded familiar, but I wasn't. I don't know.
Oh, are you thinking of Marcosia Publishing?
No. Well, there was that, but I was also thinking of Comicsgate writer Martina Marcota.
Yeah. Well, coincidence.
Yeah,
maybe it's from cosplay.
That would be cool. That would, I love it when people come together and do things like that. So she is a villain in the Gun Demon universe, which
same universe, but it's going to be in Celerity the Huntress in that series.
That's right, because you guys are the to collectively, you are known as Brain Cage, and these are Brain Cage Comics, a whole publishing imprint.
That's right.
And this is the launching of an empire right here with the Gun Demon book, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning of Brain Cage continuity. That's Gunny to his friends, death to his enemies. And I hopefully, if I did my job right in the writing and everything works out right, you guys will love this little guy as much as I do. He's going to start out, sort of like in a toddler stage. The next series he'll be adolescent. Then after that, I really look forward to writing the adult Gunny. He'll be like the competent hero type of archetype at that point. But you're going to see him literally grow from nothing. On the first page of the comic, he's ripped out of the creation vat, like the primordial soup, basically, and then tossed right into a training pit on planet Hell, where he was created.
Okay, so he is a demon from Hell, because that's the name of the planet. Why does he need guns if he's a demon, or is he not that kind of demon?
Well, here's the thing: is it hurts to be Gunny. He gets in a lot of fights. He gets clawed up. He's got a good healing factor, pretty decent. But when he comes to Earth on his mission and he sees his first firearm, it's love at first sight, because the idea, it's like the idea of harming your enemy from a distance away is very attractive to him. I mean, from day one, he's been fighting these massive destroyer demons and all these other types of demon models in training, and he doesn't want to get close to him anymore. He's all beat up all the time, and he sees that shit, and it's like, wow, that stuff exists.
Yeah, why don't we take that home?
Yeah, and it creates a monster. But he's got some human DNA, and he's got some seraphim, which is an advanced species that lives on planet Heaven. Between the forces of heaven and hell, there's a lot going on. See, and what we're doing a little bit different. They're definitely a bit inspired by Stargate, because what we're doing is explaining ancient mythology using aliens, advanced technology, all that kind of stuff. It's science. It's science fiction. It starts a little soft science fiction, and ends up becoming hard science fiction. Very erect science fiction.
One of the many things I wrote that never went anywhere was a retelling of a lot of the Greek myths as a science fiction story.
Isn't that fun? Like
it is.
I
had to explain how everything worked.
Right.
And why it was perceived as magic.
Yeah, and it gives us that, that is very fun. Like when we develop a lot of stuff, we know, and also it helps to have a guide and a theme, like a style guide and all that kind of stuff when you're developing with multiple people. Like we know, like we're united in vision that way. Like we have 3 developmental rules. There's no time travel, no alternate realities, and no supernatural. And that's the Brain Cage continuity universe. Now, for any books, stories we want to tell, anything like that we want to do outside of continuity, we have Brain Cage Unlimited. And I mean, over there, we'll do team ups with people's characters that aren't even in, like other Comicsgate, creators' characters that aren't in Brain Cage. We'll do things like that. We'll do maybe satires, whatever, or supernatural or time travel based stories that any of us creators want to tell, which we have some already. That some of this, I'm trying to really keep everybody focused on continuity, though. I want to establish it, because there really isn't, that I know of, a really strong superhero shared universe in the indies at all. And
I'm waiting for all you guys to come together at some point. And maybe it can happen now, because I haven't seen any shit stirring in a while.
Right.
For a long time, it was you couldn't bring people together for longer than half a second.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see everybody get together and do something like Split and Image that they did in the 90s, where all the books were kind of shoved into one adventure. All the creator owned stuff, and just was a crazy mess of a story. But people like that, even if it's a mess, just to see Gun Demon and Cyber Frog on the same page. Just that
would be great. Yeah. That'd be fabulous. Like something like that wouldn't fit in continuity. That would be something we would do under Unlimited.
But you have an opening for that. So
like I spoke to Brian Kreskow before. It's just like we're just talking at this point, but we talked about 6 Gun Gorilla and Gun Demon, do a crossover.
That's a perfect fit.
Just one book, you know, and I thought, you know, we do it under unlimited. That way we don't have to explain why Gunny's in that world and not in the other world. It's just Gunny comes to Earth in the 1800s instead of 1992, you know, and in that story. Hey, Keely Chow, what's up?
So Phantasmagorical has mentioned the colors on this, and I gotta agree, these things pop. You know, so many times colors wash out the pencils and inks, or they become like 50 different shades of the same color, and it's like, really, it's a red cover, but it's not a red cover. This is much more got a lot more contrast on it. Everything seems to fit well together. It complements each other.
Yeah, I knew the vision I had needed a great colorist. I wanted modern. You know, I'd like to do the kind of the next step after early 90s Image, you know, that we all kind of dreamed of. We're kind of shooting somewhere around there, you know, and I knew I needed a really great colorist. And when I saw Shinobi Sasquatch, I had to have that colorist, and it's Paul Billick. I reached out to him, and he loved the idea of the book and the character, so he's totally signed on. I pretty much, for my books, I like to have him pretty much exclusively color. That's everything, you know, it's just, I love his colors. He also colored the Christian Rossi Fight and Flight cover you see there underneath the Kiss the Sky cover.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. He did all of it. The only one he did not color, is the Bad Day cover. That was Felipe Obando, who's really, really good. Right there.
Yeah. Here. Mm-hmm. So you have 3 different covers on here, and they are each $25 a piece. Or you can get, you know, all 3 of them and save $5 when you band them together. Get all 3 for $70. It's a featured tier. Is there a time limit on that one? No. Nope. It's not an early bird tier. So
nope.
That is cool. I just scrolled down a little bit more on this main cover here, where Gun Demon is on Earth, I'm guessing, fighting this other guy. And I just now noticed the prehensile tail that he's got, and that's a hell of a tail. That thing
sure is. Yeah, this scene here, without spoiling anything, this is in the 3rd act, the big throwdown. That villain right there is Abaddon. Abaddon's going to be a reoccurring villain in the Brain Cage universe. You're seeing just a tiny fraction of his power in this book, without once again spoiling, because you just gotta go for the ride, you know, and experience it as it's happening. But I'm really happy with how Abaddon turned out. He was probably my favorite villain that I've developed so far. I don't know. It's kind of tied between this other one that I can't name yet. We can't really talk about him yet, but
I know Abbadon is, you know, one of the names from Judeo-Christian mythology, tied to demons. And at the same time he's fighting here, I can't help but notice these flies. And of course, Beelzebub is Lord of the Flies. So
those are actually locusts.
Okay.
Yeah, out of the Judeo-Christian, stories.
The 10 plagues.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not an entomologist, so you know, when I see locusts, they're already grasshoppers, and they left this little shell clinging to the side of the tree.
Abaddon was said to have a huge cloud of locusts that followed him everywhere he went, that devour all living things.
Oh, very cool.
And so what you're seeing here is, actually James Dean Anderson did a really nice formatting of the cover. The art was amazing. That said Scent. It didn't need nothing really needed changed, but he really James really touched that up. He brought out those so you could see them better. Those are drones. Abaddon creates them from matter.
Okay, I can looking at this one in the lower left corner here. I can see now the seams. I can't tell on the others because they're a little further away, but I can see the mechanical seams and the armor.
Well, the thinking behind this cover, the way it's laid out and the way it's all set up, is we really wanted you to focus first on seeing, Gunny being smashed out this building with this horrible villain, and then notice the logo pops out. And then as you're looking at more details, then you notice the locusts, and then that makes you go, what's that? What is that? It makes people think. So there's a little bit of mystery there. And
this is classic, a master's class in cover layout, because there is an art to the cover.
Yes.
And if you want to do a cover and have your main character on it, the rule is this. if you draw a diagonal line from one corner to the other, it needs to bisect your main character. And boom, there he is, cut right in half by that
Boom.
diagonal line. In fact, it bisects both of them because they're both kind of occupying that same space.
Mhm.
But when you see a cover, you like it. You're like, that's a really good cover. That's why.
Mhm.
It's all math, people. So
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
stipulations is that the cover should tell some story.
Yes.
The exception is the Bad Day cover. You know, that's a portrait.
Yeah.
But as you can see, I think that's a character worthy of portrait. I think that grabs you. It shows some of the menace up close of Abaddon, and so I
he's
think
just
that's a good
occupying the
exception.
whole frame.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I call it Bad Day, because obviously you're very close to him at that point. That's the last thing you see is that, and that's baddest day ever. But that's one of the exceptions. If you have a very interesting looking character, something like that, then that's a good exception to do a portrait. Just any other character, I wouldn't do a portrait cover. I like to tell story. And as you can see, the first two covers, you see Gunny getting knocked out the side of the building on the Kiss the Sky cover. But then you see the Fight and Flight cover. Looks like he's kind of holding his own a little bit. You know, he's angry. You see that look on his face. He's more determined. And
See that? And
yes.
hopefully I'll see it bigger down here as we scroll through.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's on the scroll there.
Oh, now I do like these interior pages here. So this is the birth of a demon.
Yes, sir. That's just ripped right out of the primordial soup. My sequential team's made up of penciler John Howard, who is a longtime veteran of the industry. He still currently does some books like Doctor Who. He did recently and some other big titles. So yeah, he's awesome, very reliable. I wanted to make sure the person doing the sequential, you know, like laying it out, was somebody that really knew how to tell a story, you know, visually. Because you know I can write the script as well as I want, but as you know, as well as anybody can. But if the page guy that's laying it out isn't visualizing what I'm trying to communicate to him, then or doesn't understand what he needs to tell. Yeah. John's really good at that.
Because when you write a comic book script, we talked about this the other night when we were discussing screenplays. You have to be a screenwriter and an art director at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of you can't really read a comic book script because it's part personal letter, because it's like, here's the dialogue, and you're like, hey John, make sure that you do this because I want to see this. That's not story, and it kind of as a reader it would take you out. But if you want to study it and see how they're done, then absolutely. And they run the gamut. I always say between hey Jack, Spidey fights Doc Ock in front of a bank and there's an explosion and they don't know if they survive. Go with it. To the whole, Alan Moore thing. He's like, page 1, panel 1, upper left-hand corner, there's a butterfly. It's a monarch. One of its legs is lifted. It's just, he gets so detailed when you read an Alan Moore script. Heroinberg, thank you for bringing Jack Kirby to mind tonight. That's always a welcome thing. Gone, form of man, rise the gun demon, not Etrigan.
The year of the gun demon. Yes. Yeah, you see right here, poor Gunny didn't even get a chance to take a breath before he's thrown right in the training pit.
He doesn't even know his name yet. He's just like,
yep.
I'm awake. Holy crap.
He doesn't even have a name. None of them do. The only demons that are named is Boss Garuzarog. He's the leader of hell. So, and that one's actually not out of mythology. I made that one up. It's an old fantasy demon name that I had made up in my fantasy world years ago, and it just stuck with me, and I liked it, so I used it for this.
Well, then is Abaddon a demon, or is he some other kind of creature?
Abaddon is something that I really can't spoil.
Okay.
I will say he's kind of like a force of reality. We'll be exploring what he is, in many issues to come. He's a special character. He's not just the big, powerful, hulking creature you see there. There's a lot more inside.
And there he is, Josh Brolin himself, Abaddon.
This is actually the weakest form you'll ever see Abaddon in, if that tells you anything. And he wrecks New Orleans effortlessly. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got a very sharp looking goatee there. Looks like he's made out of rock at some level, uh, but yet still very sinuous. This is a bad guy.
Yes. That thing there is hopefully it's going to cause nightmares for some people when we make the movie. That's going to be the second movie we release. I don't know if I told you, but we're right now in pre-production for a movie starring Rodney Norman. It's a comedy movie. We're kicking off Brain Cage Cinematics, which is our live action and animation studio. So
Now, is that where you got your experience from Rise of the Dead back from 2007?
Rise of the Dead was a hell of an experience, actually. I learned more being in that crew than I did in both the film schools I attended, honestly. Just that hands-on being thrown in there, and that was really great. But this will be
you're
my
like the
first
second
director.
guy this week that came from film to comics.
Well, I'm kind of everything, though. That's music is something that I do like I breathe. You know what I mean? Music's just I'm alive, so I play music. It's one of those things. Film is something that I've always loved since I was a child, and I've been working toward it. But it's very complex, and I've had to learn. I've had a learning curve with it, and it's like it's a lot harder work for me than music, even though I compose pretty complex music. It's just that music's more natural, I guess, to me. But film is very, very satisfying to me, and comics was always one of my main loves. I actually thought I'd be a comic book artist as a career when I would say from age 14 up until about 25. I just was not quick enough. You got to be efficient. You got to be fast. And I did great ink work, but it just took too long. It might take me a month to do a splash page or something. It would be great when I'm done, but you can't be professional like that.
That's the thing with comic book artists and comic book writers. The ones who are jobbers and the ones whose names you'll always remember, they're there because they can hit a deadline.
Yeah.
And if you're drawing the most beautiful comic book work in the world and it takes 2 years.
Sorry, I saw that one coming.
I'm just saying, we love you.
We do. We love you.
That's why I hired John Howard to do pencils, and I hired Cheese Windhall to ink it. And Cheese is awesome. Very, he's done a lot of books. Replicator 3 is one that stands out in my mind that he's done really great work on that. And then, of course, Paul Billick on colors. I mean, I want Paul coloring everything that I do.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, you can tell that this particular scene here is set in a darker time of day, but still the colors are popping out of it.
Yeah, it's a little bit later than the Kiss the Sky cover. I mean, like I said, we're telling story in the covers without spoiling the story, showing some of the high energy scenes. When you read the book, you'll see why I chose these scenes for the covers. It's this scene here, you might cheer a little bit. The other one, I hope you'll gasp. Especially when we make the movie, I have a feeling when Gunny gets knocked out of that building, some people will gasp. You might cry for him, honestly. Gunny, he's adorable, and he's really going to get his ass kicked. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not going to spoil how it ends, but he's really going to get his ass kicked. The poor little guy. I feel bad about it.
Well, see, now that's what I was kind of getting ready to ask here was his physicality. You've created this hero, and the person who created him is this huge, evil, big, bad, hulking character. The person he's got to fight is this huge, big, bad, evil, hulking character, and he ain't. He's like just a dude. Like it looks like Savage Dragon could kick his ass.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that would actually be a pretty good fight. Come to think of it, Gunny is. If you're going off of tier 3 as the highest tier level for like a superhero, this is kind of the standard what we do. Anything above that's like raid boss level, right? From MMORPG kind of terms, gaming terms. But Gunny is tier 1 super speed, tier 1 super agility, tier 1 super focus, which allows him to focus on certain things in the middle of really crazy situations. He can kind of slow down time and kind of be like, oh, I need to hit accurately hit that button, with my tail, or, he can aim, at one point learns to aim using his super focus. And then he has a tier 1 regeneration. All like his powers, none of them are exceptional, but they do make him remarkable. They definitely aid in his survival. He's very fast, fast enough most of the time. And but all of our heroes in Brain Cage are underpowered, and our villains are overpowered.
That's
So
the
that
way
when
to do it.
yeah, when you're reading, you can't imagine if how these heroes are going to overcome what they're up against, if they even do.
Heroin Burke says, so it's a little like when Mojo created Longshot. Mojo's this big slug-like but hulking character, and Longshot was, lithe and nimble, and
except for Abaddon didn't create Gunny.
Well, that's true. The boss did. I thought the boss was bigger, but I might be thinking of just the claw machine that pulled him out.
Yeah, well, the boss, that opening establishing shot, the boss is up there in the dark and spooky foreboding fortress of Don't Want to Go.
Like Dr. Claw. Okay.
Yeah. And very much a shadowy figure in the beginning of the story.
And we can't put up the link to follow Gun Demon Greg on Twitter for reasons.
He doesn't have a Twitter.
I've been denied all Twitters. Okay.
You've been liberated.
So follow at Tank Ferret Art for your latest Brain Cage news.
Yeah, so Tank,
or Facebook. I've got Gun Demon, Brain Cage Multimedia, and Gregory L. Levite pages too. So whichever, you either follow Tank on Twitter or me over there, and between the two of us, we pretty much cover it.
So Tank, Greg's been answering all the questions here about the book. Why are you here, man? What you doing?
I'm the senior vice president, so I'm his sidekick.
Okay.
That's my job. Yeah.
He's so much more than that, actually. I haven't given him a word in edgewise yet. That's why.
Well, I just didn't know what creative role he might play with the book. I know he's doing some sketch cards for one of the tiers here. We've kind of
we're doing things a lot different, RJ. We're building a multimedia company, and so we have a team of creators, and then we have an executive team, and we all very much work like a team. So none of us are on our own. None of us are doing, it's not coming down to one guy's fuck up or anything like that. We work as a team like that. So it's
because nobody can fuck up better than all of us can fuck up.
That's right.
I figure if all of us fuck up, then we deserve whatever we get at that point. Jeez. I mean, that's a lot of fucking up. We have a huge team. You don't see most of us. Most of them are just off in their own world developing things. They're off designing things. Like Carlos Villa, I keep trying to get him on stream. It's difficult. He's a hardworking man. We've got just a huge team of people. But Tank and I, man, we just between the two of us, I think we make up a hell of a creator.
Well, and with Dan. With World War Herald Dan and Ben Fogarty, just amazing stuff and Paul Roper, all this amazing stuff is coming through. Oh, dude, the talent that we've got working behind the scenes is just mind-bogglingly awesome.
The dream team.
For real. I am blown away that we got such a great quality, and that they're very happy to work on the project. And
newest member, Isan Fazeli. He is the designer of the Mighty Mechalore, and that's
which is going to appear in this book.
Yes, sir. And I'm also going to release a series for Mighty Mechalore in the future as well. He's one of our Phase 1 heroes in Brain Cage continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Now that right there, I always love pointing this out because people gasp sometimes when I say this, but that's a rough sketch for Isan. His finished work is, wow, as good as that is right there. That's good enough to put in a book right there. But
I would think so.
Yeah, his finished work is phenomenal. He's nailing down Mechalore's look now on the final designs. But
so we've talked about, the aliens from Planet Hell and Planet Heaven and the fights that they're going to have with Abaddon and such. But we are on Earth, so there are going to be some human characters, and this is one of them inside Mechalore here.
Yes, sir.
Does does that person get a name, or does the suit's name overshadow
Yeah.
who they are?
His name is Farzan, and he's Persian. He's from Iran, and he was developing. He's an engineer and a weapons developer, and he came to the U.S. working for some kind of sound going on there, crunching or something.
Sorry.
He came to the U.S. working for a weapons development company, and found out that he was developing some really dangerous stuff that was way beyond what he realized he was doing. Got it over his head. Another of our characters, known as the Archivist, helped him. It's the Archivist's job to save Earth's brightest minds from, and that's a deeper story that we're going to unravel bit by bit. But the Archivist basically finds him because he is one of the brightest minds on the planet. He actually is the first human to successfully reverse engineer Seraphim technology.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so that's tying everything together. Is that what's happening in Gun Demon, or is that what's happening in World War Hell?
Well, it
Both.
will happen in the Mighty Mecha lore. It's in all of it. This is all the same continuity universe. But what you're going to see in Gun Demon #1 is Mecha lore's already. His origin story's already happened, and he's already known, as the hero Mechalore. Nobody knows he's Farzan, except for some people in that corporation.
Hey,
So-
Greg, it would help if people understood what time frame Gun Demon takes place in.
True. That's 1992.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
That's
World
where it
War Hell
starts.
takes place in 1943.
Yeah.
And World
And-
War Hell is actually coming with this book, as I recall correctly.
Issue 0. Yep.
Yes,
So you're getting two
10
books.
page
in part
preview.
one.
Yep. 10-page. You're looking at the cover right there. That's the issue 0. And what we've done is some of the titles start at an earlier time period and then work their way up to the modern day. Other ones are starting right in the modern day, like Celerity the Huntress, and I believe the Scarab also. I need to know more about the Scarab. Stefani needs to connect me with his writer. We need to have a few meetings, but I believe it's current day. The Scarab starts in. So Celerity and the Scarab start there, and also the Unstoppable Dreadnought, which will be released in the future. But the rest start in previous eras and work their way up. This character you see right here on issue 0, World War Hell, that's Blitzkrieg. He's basically our Ripper style character, kind of like Wolverine, Venom, whatever,
Okay.
And that's he specializes in demon slaying, and he's part man, part demon. There's a human's mind trapped in that beast of a body, and that's Blitzkrieg. His name was Klaus Krieger when he was a human. He's a veteran of World War I, German. And see, in World War Hell, the gates to hell open, and the demon army starts spilling out, wiping out both Axis and Allied forces alike, which eventually makes it to where the Axis and Allied forces have to team up together to defend Earth. Put aside what they can of their differences and try to work together, because at that point it's all or nothing.
Now,
The
I
demon
noticed
army
that
overwhelms.
the German machine gunner here is shooting locusts.
That is Prang, is his name. That's his code name. His name's Hans Mueller. He's firing 2 MG-44s, I believe. Isn't that correct, Tank? Or are they 42s? Is it MP42?
I had my mic off. Yeah, it's a dual-barreled MG42, essentially.
Yeah.
For you 40K fans, just think Stormbolter.
Okay.
Yeah, and you
But
can't
he
really
is
see
shooting
it on the-
locusts.
Yeah, you can't really see it on the cover there, but he's actually got diesel punk powered armor. Prang does.
Oh, cool.
You can see it actually on the page when you scroll down. You can see the design of Prang by Chris Oak, the original design, and you can see his powered armor. That's a sample of the page, right?
I love these pencils. I love the idea of the man who's inside, his brain is inside of a demon. It's different than the Jason Blood Etrigan relationship. It reminds me more of Claw, and I'm not talking Ulysses Claw from Marvel. I'm talking Claw the Unconquered from DC. Was this medieval hero who put his hand through a dimensional rift for reasons I forget. I guess because it was there, and he pulls it back out, and he's got a demon's claw in place of his hand, and the demon he was fighting with has his hand in place of the claw, and he's got to control this, this monster claw thing on his arm now.
Similar concept as Elric, for example, where he's got the Stormbringer sword and it's cursed. You get a lot of power, but you also have downsides to it. Blitzkrieg, he deals with some downsides. Here's a look at actual World War Hell issue 1, which will be the next Brain Cage campaign. That's Hans Mueller right there Klaus Krieger before he becomes Blitzkrieg. You can see I modeled him after, I imagined like a German Josie Wales. And you could see William Moore Reyes really nailed that Clint Eastwood look right there, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm liking this. So he's seeing, probably the first time a human sees a demon on Earth.
No, actually, but it's definitely the first time anybody
he sees
one. Yeah, first time him or anybody in that town. Like it just starts breaking out. Like, the demons, they build drones, which is their basic infantry, out of humans that they capture. So they'll go to these civilian towns, open a gate, jump out, and just start grabbing people everywhere, running in houses, snatching people, and they turn them into drones, their basic infantry. So that's what they mean to do to Blitzkrieg, but instead he becomes that.
What in the blue hell is that?
Yeah, that's him. That's our Wolverine, our Venom, I guess you could say. He's very much different. That doesn't
look like a drawing. That looks like you made a 3D sculpture.
That's Carlos Villa, and yes, it is. He does digital 3D art like that. Yeah.
Are you going to print that?
That's going to be used for sure in some different stuff, but that's not what the inside of the book will be. You'll see William Moore Reyes and Cheese Aries Windhall, doing the comic book style.
I think he's asking if prints will be available.
Print that. I mean, are you going to print that in a 3D printer? Because it's a 3D scale.
Oh, there's an action figure being produced right now by Rex Barha. So that will be on there, just like what I'm doing with the Gunny figures that I'm going to be adding soon to my campaign. Rex is making figures of all of our IPs. Rex is a master hand craftsman when it comes to these figures. Full articulation and everything, great detail.
This thing is just tight.
And you'll be
really
able to
proud
see
of Blitz.
You'll be able to see more of him when we premiere the World War Hell tabletop game. Oh yeah, baby. He's included in the box set.
Boom.
This one's drawn to scale to a normal human being.
6 foot tall human. Yep. that is a destroyer demon.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll see one in Gun Demon for the first time on page 3, splash page, which I'm not showing anybody yet. It's going to be fabulous, but you'll see one for the first time there. But you'll really see them in full effect in World War Hell. Because they're going to wreck shit.
Yeah, this is like part rat, part talons, part cricket. I don't know.
It's a lot of everything horrific.
It's a lot of everything in this thing. That's a scary looking thing. And,
imagine Blitz jumping up on its back trying to rip its eyes out while them tentacles are lashing him and those spikes are sticking out and trying to impale him. Yeah. It's going to be really exciting, especially in the movie. Can you imagine a movie with that kind of stuff going on? That's what we're working toward. There's Prang. There's the design I was mentioning earlier by Chris Oak. See, you get a good look at his diesel punk style armor suit there.
I'm finding so much more punk things lately. I thought it was just steampunk, but now there's diesel punk and
there's biopunk. We got some biopunk shit going on in our universe too, and all that. Tank's got the cyberpunk covered with Scalpel Zero over in Brain Cage Unlimited.
Everybody's seen that logo before. No point in bringing that up. I was scrolling down.
I think it's a selling point. Honestly, I'm proud to display the Google Blast logo down there and show people that even though I am a brand new creator, I'm smart enough to hire someone experienced who knows how to fulfill to make damn sure it goes smoothly and that everybody will get what they want and have good customer service. That's very
so
important.
Far so good. I sit obsessively on the shipping screen when things go out. But like the post office just took it from the door, and I'm already like, Did they scan any of it? Did they scan any of it? Oh, that one got scanned. Somebody stopped and scanned it. And I monitor them to the door. And then when it's done, you'll get sick of hearing from me because I'll be like, hey, 87% of everything's been delivered so far.
You do great work, man. You really, really do. Creators out there, especially first-time creators, you really, really should reach out to RJ and get set up, with him as your fulfillment person because he knows what he's doing. The headaches he's saved us is beyond description.
I was looking for an image of this because you guys have got this. You've got a game.
Yes.
You're game designers.
Yes, multiple games we've got in the works. That is Battlegate, our collectible trading card game. It's somewhere in between Hearthstone and Magic in complexity level for those who understand what that means. It's, Magic has a lot of micromanaging that personally myself, even when I enjoyed playing Magic and was playing it a lot, I felt like it would have been funner if it was built more around like the monster fighting and the characters fighting and stuff. So here we are with Battlegate, and that's the whole concept behind it. A 40-card deck will have 8 character cards, and and of course they have stats. And then each character card has 4 action cards that activate their abilities. So there's 32 action cards in the deck. So essentially the whole thing's built around the characters battling it out. My characters versus yours. Now, we only have the Gun Demon deck starting off right here. This is our first deck. But we're going to, as soon as we can afford to do it, because it's expensive to get really good artist commissions and everything. And we need to get a website put up, which we can't afford yet, and get a web store on that. But as soon as possible, we're going to put up 2 to 4 fantasy style decks based on my world of Aonar, which I've already got the stats all lined up and ready to go. We just got to pay for the art. We're probably not going to run a campaign for that. We're just going to, as soon as from one of our projects, because we have video game projects that should bring us in, some capital and some other projects. We're not throwing all of our eggs in one basket. So
now, is Battlegate itself your property, or is it you're building a Battlegate Gun Demon deck, and it's sort of like a open source game thing?
That's a good question. See, we're a creator-owned co-op multimedia company. So every creator owns their own IP and ultimately makes decisions on what they will do or not do with their IP. Of course, I'm president and Tank is senior vice president. Of course, we're going to advise them, that they should go certain directions. Sometimes when need be, things like that, try to encourage them to go in directions we think are what work. But at the same time, it's their IP. And if they want to take it, we have a process for, they want to take their IP and leave, they can do that. We'll have a process where we'll get them out of, contractually get them out of all that. We'll have to obviously finish whatever we have already in the works involving that character. But we're really trying to make it so much so that nothing can happen here like what happened, to some of the legends that died broke who created multi-billion-dollar characters.
Yeah,
we all know the stories, and we don't want that. And also, our mindset is more like sharing the wealth amongst the different creators, empower the creators so that then the creators can pay the top competitive rates to the artists. Because we want to establish our company as the ideal place for artists who want to be really top tier art, that they want to come and work for us because we treat them well and with respect and we pay them well. That's what we want to establish. So
per rata et perpetuity sounds like a bunch of Latin to me.
It is actually. I took 3 years of so your inker, I can't say the name. Anyway, he is the inker for Bloom, of which I have all the issues. So no stranger to crowdfunding there. He's a very good inker.
Cheese is amazing. Yeah.
If you haven't seen Bloom, you should check it out. Check out all the Hero Tomorrow books. They're fantastic. So this
they are because Cheese works on it.
Exactly. So it's a 40-card deck, $25, and 3 people have claimed it already. So people are playing Battlegate other versions right now.
No, not yet. This will be the very first deck.
That what I was curious
See,
about.
what we're planning on doing is, so we've got the Aonar decks I just mentioned, my fantasy world, set in that fantasy world, that we'll just put up on a web store, no campaign, so that people will be able to just buy in and it'll get shipped out to them, within a few days. But also, each one of these campaigns we run, there will be a unique deck in each campaign. So when World War Hell, for example, launches, there's going to be a World War Hell themed deck. It's going to have those characters. When Celerity the Huntress launches, the Scarab, the Unstoppable Dreadnought, all of the Brain Cage titles, Apex Predator, all of these different titles, 21 Demons, these will all bring a new Battlegate deck. And we're going to hit different genres. Like, with Scalpel Zero, we've got far future cyberpunk. With Brain Cage, we've got, today, but future kind of, high science fiction. Set in today's world. Aonar is a completely different fantasy world. You'll be able to mix and match characters from all of these decks. It's
That's
all
what I
modular.
wanted to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, before I get there, I would urge people, if you're going to buy a deck, buy 2 decks, because there's nothing lonelier in the world than buying a game that nobody else can play with you.
True.
I'm having flashbacks to when I bought Champions as a teenager. Like, anybody want to play Champions? But are they the same deck? If I bought 2 decks, are they like every single card is in all of them, or are they like, hey, we've got 300 cards, but this one's going to be 40 of them, and this one's going to be 40 of them, and they might not be the same at all?
Yeah, this deck it would be the same.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, they would have the same characters and the same action cards. If you're to sit and play with somebody, though, you're going to draw different characters out at different times and different action cards out. So it's still, even with playing with that same deck, there'll still be a lot of variation in play there. And we do plan on, as soon as possible, getting those Aonar decks out, the fantasy decks. We want that to replace Magic. That's our goal.
Yeah, and God, I haven't played Magic since Black Borders. I took a year off when I moved somewhere they weren't playing. I came back. I tried to get into it, like flanking. I have no idea what the rules are anymore.
50 billion rules. Yeah, it's ridiculous. We're never going to be that complex. Our system, I like to think that it's complex enough that people who are used to complex games will appreciate it and have fun with it. But it's simple enough that a new person to the genre can pick it up and learn how to do it simple enough.
Okay, so what if I have an IP? I'm not publishing through Brain Cage because I'm just like, hey, I want to get my comic book done. I'm just a comic book guy. But you know what? I would really, really like to say, hey, here's a tier where you can get a booster pack for, Battlegate. And it's, a couple of my characters, and some of the, I'm gonna say lands and spells just for sake of clarity here. It's like 7 cards, 10 cards, whatever it is. It works in the Battlegate realm. Do you have plans to work with people to do that kind of a thing, to license that out?
Absolutely. Contact me at Tank Ferret Art on Twitter, and I will start your process to licensing your IP. We'll come to a nice arrangement, and we'll help you develop the deck so that it best matches your IP and helps you stay on brand.
Wouldn't that be so cool, though, to be sitting there playing your Gun Demon deck against somebody with an A&R deck, and you're like, oh yeah, well, take this, and you throw out a Joe King versus card with the big blue Muppet on. And they're like, where'd you get that?
Yeah, like maybe I could play against Mo. He could have a freaking ARO deck, and pull out.
Exactly. And you can shuffle the decks together. You can have it half A&R, half Gun Demon, as long as you've built your deck according to the X number of these, X number of those, and 40 card limit, whatever. I don't know. When I had my first Magic deck was like 120 cards because I was just going through. And then I got down to a 60 card deck that was nothing but Millstones, Time Twisters, and Tormod's Crypts. And I was just like, are you ever going to hit me? Nope. I'm going to run you out of cards.
The great thing about the Battlegate is that, by selling whole deck collections, you don't have to go spending inordinate amounts of money to go looking for one card that you just want to add to your deck. You could be like, okay, I want, Gunny and Scalpel Zero to team up together with I don't know, just throwing out something out there, Company Man, and that's my deck. That's my favorite team up.
Yeah,
You know,
but you could
uh,
spend, inordinate amount of money if, some creator just says, and you know what? If you get the $300 tier, and which is $100 more than the last tier, I'm going to throw in a Cyber Frog card for the Battlegate game, and he'd probably sell a
oh,
bunch of.
Cyberfrog could easily have his own deck. I mean, it's
Oh
your
yeah,
your basic deck consists of hero and of both sides. So honestly, you could take your deck, split it in two, and play against yourself.
oh okay, that works.
Right? You
World
ever
War
played
Hell
Lord of the
Dan is
Rings?
here.
You ever played the Lord of the Rings card
I
game?
I have not.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a story-driven game, and it's quite different than this one. But one of the things that I really liked about it was that it was a single-player game. Like you could divvy because your deck was already divvied up into your challenges and your heroic type stuff. So you could sit there and just play against yourself and test your deck out.
I would do that with Magic. I would,
Mm-hmm.
create a deck and test against another one and just turn the table, keep turning it around, or get on the floor and keep shifting places.
The
Um,
rules are really simple, and then we offer, like, Greg and I were in meeting earlier today. We were talking about all the various game modes that just to kind of spice things up a little bit, just change things up. Like we were talking about, like last man standing. Okay, players have no health. It's now the player with their characters still standing wins. That would be like knockdown, drag out, brawl of a game. Maybe not necessarily a fast game, but definitely an intriguing one.
yeah, I just noticed something that I don't know if this has always been a part of StreamYard or if it's been an addition. I used to have to run YouTube to the side to take care of the chat. But now I've noticed that there's 3 dots next to any chat that I click on that I can put somebody in timeout or block them. So, welcome to our Russian bot friends. We appreciate you.
Hey, Frog G. Hey,
Das
quick
Vidanya.
to Frog G out there in the chat. Hey, I don't know if you got the update today, but I got the files organized, and the Fembot Apocalypse is being fulfilled finally. And yes, your teddy bear is included. Frog G got a teddy bear. Nobody else got.
Well, you're going to be busy on this one doing sketch cards.
Mhm. Oh, I can't wait. I sent Greg. I sent you the picture to use for the reference art. Like, well, I'll do something
Okay.
along those lines. I just quickly crop something. Like, yeah, no, that I could do like that on a sketch card, and we'll call that. We're only charging $25, but I'm doing the my $50 sketch card, which is like penciled, inked. It looks nice. I took my time on it. Sometimes I'll even like put in like a filigree border around it and stuff like that. I'll have fun with it and make it that you've got something new.
So this will be the actual trading card that you can get with Gun Demon.
Nope.
And, nope.
No.
Nope.
No.
What?
No. These are unique. They're just
yeah.
for you.
But
Yeah,
I mean, they're trading card sized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll be able to slide them into your book with all the little pockets in it, or put it into your favorite card sleeve and store it away nice and safe. It'll be the standard industry size for a trading card.
And you'll be able to select whether he's going to sketch Mechalor, Gunny, or Abaddon for your individual card for each card.
And
All right.
before the end of the campaign, we will have 3-way drawings, so that way you can absolutely make up your mind.
Now, Greg, I know we talked about this before we came on because we are doing the shipping for Gun Demon. Happy to do so, proud to do so. So we had to, give weights and measures. And we talked about T-shirts, and I have not seen T-shirt tiers on here. They're either still hidden, they're going to be revealed later, and I've spilled the beans, or they're not going to be done at all. What's the story with T-shirts on this one?
It's doing weird stuff. Just remember what I was telling you before we came on here. It says visible in the editor, and I mean, I've sat for an hour trying to figure out how to make it visible. The in each individual cover just finally perks just finally showed up here a little bit ago. If you recall, Indiegogo's weird. It's got some problems.
It takes some getting used to, because I'm also running an Indiegogo for another campaigner because he's in Brazil. He can't. Indiegogo is apparently illegal in Brazil. We don't know why. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just offer that as a service. I'll host your campaign. So we're doing that one. That's Tropical Magic. Pedro Eng's campaign.
Pedro's awesome.
And
Pedro's fantastic.
He's a good guy. And I was like, hey, that'd be a great little side business I could do for all the people in Brazil. And I realized that, but I can only do one at a time because it's Indiegogo. You can't run 2 or 3 of them, even if they are 2 or 3 different people. It's actually me.
Yep.
We've got some plans in the works to work with Pedro quite a bit here in the very near future. And we had him do a design for Rodney Norman, the comedian Rodney Norman that we're working with. He did a cartoon design of, character sheet for Rodney's character, Leonard McCrunsky, and just totally nailed it out of the park. Perfect. So that gave a style to the animated show we want to make eventually for Leonard, for Rodney's IP.
And that's going to, is that going to be a Brain Cage book, or is that going to be a separate?
Well, that's going to be a movie. That'll be under Brain Cage Cinematics, under our movie and animation studio.
Are you
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that one we actually have a private investor.
Okay.
To help get that thing started. And then once we have a proof of concept, I've got contacts that are disaffected from Hollywood. They've been kind of kicked out because they didn't think the way everyone else thought. And so they're a great resource for finding us people who like to invest in movies and have a lot of experience doing so. So and plus Greg's got his avenues of approach, and between the two of us, man, we got this sucker funded.
Well, you guys have a lot to do, and this is the launch, the birth of Brain Cage. I mean, you guys have been planning this. We've been talking for over a year or more about everything you guys are getting ready to do. So this was not 2 guys taking a toke on a Saturday and saying, let's make a comic book, dude. And there it is the next weekend. It's very meticulously planned out.
It's been a lot of work. Oh man.
For real. That, and we've got 8 we have 8 continuity titles, 2 unlimited titles, 3 unlimited titles. Oh yeah, we got 3 unlimited titles, and we've got at least 1 video game and a tabletop board game coming out that we're hoping that we can get them out in an expeditious manner. The more we fund on this, the faster we can get it done. We got to hit that 10K goal to make this happen. So please, everybody out there, share
the thing. I mean, I tell people, you don't have to like my video, because if you don't like me, you don't like me. And I'm finding out there are people that don't like me. So
it's always that way for everybody.
I'm trying to get used to that. But do share it. Share this out, because you've got friends who haven't seen this video, who haven't seen this campaign. And maybe they want to see it. Maybe they'll share it with their friends. That's how this whole social media rippling thing works out. And wow, the Russians are attacking in droves here. Every time I block one, another, they're like Hydra. You cut one off and 2 more pop up in their place. 10,000, but this is a flex goal, not a hard goal, which means that you guys are doing this book anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've already spent, my girlfriend and I've already went without a lot of things for the last couple of years and spent at least about $7,000 on designs, logos, you name it. Basically, let's say it hits 8K, it doesn't hit the 10K. I'm going to have to put up that extra 2K because it's got to be made. That's all there is
to it.
Let's hope
it passes the 10K and goes into,
I'm really confident. We're going to be streaming with Rodney here really soon in the very near future, and it'll definitely start happening while my campaign is active. He's got a few 100,000 loyal fans, and a lot of them are nerds like us, and in their 40s, 50s. I think we'll probably bring a lot of people into Comicsgate from Rodney's community.
That
He's
would be
got a
cool. The more
really
people coming
great
into
community.
comics, the better.
Yeah, we're reaching out to indie music, the Comedian Network. It's all indie everything, indie video game networks, and just bringing people to Comicsgate and trying to tie it all in together, because I feel like Comicsgate's a great seed to plant, an amazing grove from,
Yeah.
So
Now you got a January 2023 release date on this. Is that just being conservative? Because we've seen some pages already.
yeah, it's
And
being conservative.
because you guys are talking about this like there's urgency and like it's coming,
Mhm.
it's here. Get on the
Mhm.
train. I almost feel like when it's done, it's going to ship. But
Mhm.
that
Yes,
Yes.
that is the plan. But like Coach says, pad that delivery date.
Mhm.
Pad the heck out of it. Pad it like a junior at senior prom.
like like Montgomery Scott used to say, you double it, that add 10%, then you do it in the time it really takes. You come up looking like a miracle worker.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well, I figure if they're expecting it to be January of next year, and then we fulfill before Christmas to where it can be given out as a gift, I think that's pretty ideal, and that's what we're shooting for. I'm sure we can do it well before Christmas, as long as we hit the goal and everything.
Yeah.
If not, that'll take me a little bit longer to come up with the funds. I'm a broke bastard. All my money went into this already, but I'll always find a way to this. This does not stop. I don't have the option to stop. This is everything I've been training my whole life has been to kick all this off. I'm now, where I need to be. So, stopping is not an option.
Right. Well, Harrenberg would like to know which Rodney you're referring to. You've introduced him to me through way of his videos.
Rodney Norman. Rodney
Me
Norman. Check him out on YouTube. It's freaking hilarious. He plays this brilliant character named Leonard McCrunsky. And Leonard is the world's worst inspirational speaker and spiritual guru. And it's just goofy, lighthearted, kind of wholesome character, really. He just talks funny, looks funny, does everything wrong on purpose. It's at times a little cringy. It's brilliant, but it's going to be really fun directing him in the Accidental Guru movie. I cannot wait, because he's just a great improv comedian. So between him and his network of comedians who are going to be, making up the supporting characters and all that, they're all already great in their own characters, So we're going to implement those characters, and they're going to wing a lot of it, and we're going to roll that tape and see how it goes.
Looking forward to having the cast on here for a group interview when this is all done.
Absolutely, man.
We've done that with indie film producers before. It's always a lot of fun. Gabriel Hernandez, what's a gun demon and where can I get one? Buy one. Buy. I'm sure you meant both and typed them at the same time. Gun demon is this comic. He's a demon. He comes to Earth. He finds out that you don't have to fight close range. You can buy guns and shoot people before they get to you so you don't get hurt. And it is on Indiegogo, the link to which, by the way, folks, everybody, is pinned to the top of the chat. But since we're wrapping up and the chat won't be playing, it is also below the video. The very first thing you're going to see. You can click on that anytime during this video. It'll open up in a new window. You'll still get to listen to everybody talk. Nothing's going to shut down. It's not like, when I share a video and it stops in the middle of playing. I'm like, why did it? I was just. But yeah, you can just click over there. Yeah, this is this is not my COVID beard. This is my I quit beard.
That's great.
Look. This cube you see me sitting in here. This is my life. My bed is right here. My pantry's right here. My fridge is right there. I get up in the morning. I sit in this chair. I do an 8-hour job. I then do this. I get out of this chair. I go get food. I pull it from the fridge. I sit in this chair and I eat it. I watch Netflix, and then I get in this bed. It's like prison with Walmart privileges. Okay,
Yeah.
I can get up and go to Walmart, but there's nowhere else to go. There's no reason to go anywhere.
We can relate.
Gee, Greg, there's nobody in the company that actually has a bed in their office around here, do they? As I look around nonchalantly.
Right.
Yeah, I do
So-
the same thing. There are many days where I literally roll out of bed into my office chair and I get to work and then I go get my coffee, take a shower, et cetera, come back to work.
Exactly. I'm renting a room. I was very fortunate to find a very nice room in a beautiful section of Arkansas. I mean, I'm on top of a mountain next to Table Rock Lake.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I can walk down to Table Rock Lake where there's the sidebar and a pizza joint. It's beautiful country. I pull my curtains right behind my laptop here because I'm facing my wall. Had them open today. 4 deer in my driveway just eating the grass.
Nice.
I love it.
And yeah, the deer. I recognize one of them because I remember it as a baby last fall. Because it was well, no, it wasn't fall. It was spring. It was baby in the spring, and I had to lift it out of a ditch because it ran out in front of the car. I didn't hit it, but the mama ran off, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" So I got out to make sure the baby's okay, and got some nice pictures of her. But then she kind of like was slid down the embankment because she was frozen. She wasn't going to move, and she got her front foreleg hooked over the back of her head.
Oh no.
And just stuck there and just like hopping around. And I did not know deer made a noise. She made a noise. She was unhappy. So I was like, held her, unhooked her leg and put her out. Mama came back, and I've seen Mama and baby coming out here and eating quite often, seen the baby grow up. Got little spikes on his head now. So they're all over this neighborhood. Holiday Island, they've got the no hunting signs. So naturally, the deer just overrun everything. Drive slow. I'm on top of a mountain, but down and around the corner, there's actually like a golf course community that looks like a golf course community, but the deer are just walking through people's yards. So don't plant a garden because you won't grow anything. They'll come and eat it. Yeah. Oh, deer is right.
By the way, I'd like to make a shout out to Frog G, Gun Demon #1 backer. He was the first backer.
He said he would be too.
Yes, he did. I told him even if he didn't get the first one, he'll always be the first backer in my heart.
I'll tell you, he's quick on the trigger. He's been #1 backer on a couple of campaigns.
He's awesome.
And he shows up on my ship lists a lot. So
he's awesome, man.
Man buys
best
books.
wrenchy, hands down.
No, Frog G backed the Fembot Apocalypse. He got the everything perk, and then he won. I was doing a giveaway on a channel, and he won the giveaway. And he's like, "Well, dang it, I already have everything." I was like, "Yeah, don't you worry about it. I got you. I'll give you a teddy bear." And I can't wait till he prints this teddy bear and takes a picture of it because everyone's gonna love this thing. It's so cool.
Teddy bear, Prince the teddy bear.
It's a cyberpunk teddy bear.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
you're
I
gonna
don't
3D print this thing.
Yeah, because that's the campaign I did last year. Was for 3D printing files. That's the Fembot Apocalypse. I was actually learning how to do like 3D modeling in VR, and came up with a product that was really cool. And some buddies of mine started printing them out and using them to play 40K, and I was like,
I was at a science fiction convention, and small the hometown one, Archon in Collinsville, Illinois, and there was a 3D printer there that day where you stood on the circle and you stood still, and the camera went around you like 5 times, and then the wireframe was printed. So I have had somewhere a 3D print of me, just wearing my shirt, my jeans, and my
that's cool.
But people were showing up in their cosplay and getting their scans done so that they would have Warhammer figures of the person they were cosplaying.
Oh, that's cool.
That's always cool.
Yeah, because you didn't have to have an artist sculpt something; you just wore it, and then you got scanned. Don't know where that is. I missed that. I paid somebody to print it, and it literally looked. If I took my glasses off and had it on the desk, it looked like I'd been through Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and was running around on the table. Painter did a nice job on it. I miss it, where it's at. Oh, well, it got taken from me and put away somewhere because I'm too old to play with toys.
I'd like to know from Frog G, what's the word on your book? When's that going to be launching, Frog?
Well, we'll have to wait for Frog. And yeah, the sidebar's closed because of COVID. That's how long it's been since I've been there. Of course, it's winter. We do actually get cold here.
Yeah.
But Eureka Springs is Holiday Island used to be Eureka Springs, and then it kind of like, hey, we want to be our own little place, but we're going to keep the zip code. Thank you very much. Yes, it'd be an RJ Mini, but answer the question. Where's your book? Where's your book? And why aren't you on our channel promoting it?
Yeah, I saw some art recently. Jason Bascom did. I think Jason did it. It was Frog G character, and he said in the comments. This was on Facebook. He said in the comments that they're working on a book. I want to know more.
Well, definitely, Frog G, reach out to us about your book when you're ready to do pre-launch material, and let us talk to you about it and show it off to people.
Hell yeah,
guys, we've run over, which nobody cares, but unless you guys have anything better to do, which you probably do. I just want to say, thank you guys for coming on the stream tonight and showing off Gun Demon, Devil's Overture, #1. So this is a mini series with a subtitle. We should have probably mentioned that up front, because there'll be a lot more Gun Demon in the future with different adventures. Mm-hmm. Whoa! Abbadon just took over Tank Barrett's.
Scary, isn't it?
Very scary. I mean, if it couldn't get any scarier unless we did that.
Right?
That is a bad day.
Yeah.
Very, very bad day.
That's the image on the Bad Day T-shirt. I'm going to make sure to try to figure out what's wrong, why it's not on the campaign. So I'm going to try to fix that perk.
Yeah, absolutely. He says he's talking with Jason and Inkspots about getting the sign-up page going. So
Beautiful.
It's coming.
Beautiful.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
We'll be there for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for bringing Gun Demon here. Good luck with the campaign. I'm sure you're going to make the $10,000 goal. You guys have put too much planning and too much designing and engineering into this entire campaign for this to fail. So it will get done. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We don't have a show without you. So we're always glad you're here. And as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.